Hello, everyone. Welcome. Okay, looks like we are live on Facebook. We're good to go. Welcome to those on TikTok. So, today we're going to be discussing creating happy bodies. So, if this is your first time joining me, my name is Tina. I'm a happiness coach, and I share my experience in hopes that you guys can pick up some tools to be able to implement to your life to see if that will make you happier. So, for today, I wanted to talk about creating happy bodies. And for me, this was a pretty big challenge for most of my life because, for the most part, I hadn't really learned to pay attention to what it is my body needed. And so when I first started on my recovery journey and starting to look into self-help and self-awareness and learning what it is that I need, getting in touch with my body was one of the things that was particularly challenging because I was always lost in my head, and being in my body and feeling the sensations of my body was something that was not very comfortable. It was often felt too overwhelming to be in my body. And so when I first started doing healing work and stuff like that, I had to start learning to understand what my body was trying to tell me, what it was that I needed to know. And I started out with some simple things, and just doing things like eating something fresh and unprocessed every day, making sure that it's something that didn't come from a package, that was fresh, as close to raw as possible, right? I'm not recommending eating raw meat or anything like that, but I'm sure there are safe ways to do that. But for myself, it was more like fruits and vegetables and increasing those and making those a priority. Also, increasing my water intake as well, so that because I found that if I wasn't drinking enough water, I found I had a lot more aches and pains and stiffness, and that was back when I was much younger. And so I always equated drinking water with like trying to run a car without oil. Now, that was before electric vehicles. So, but it's like if you try to run a regular car without oil, you're going to end up seizing up the engine. Things aren't going to work properly, and it's not going to go well for you. So, learning to increase the amount of water that I drank on a daily basis helped create a happier body for me. Um, I also had to learn things like because I was so focused on other people and because I was also heavier set, um, I had, um, how do you put it? I had insecurities about what I should or shouldn't eat, and I was also very cautious of what I ate in public and stuff like that because, you're a big girl, so you shouldn't be able to eat anything, right? And that wasn't the case. So I remember I had went with some friends, and we went to, I think it was the science center. Hey, Alfred, good to see you. So we had gone to the science center, and they were used to going longer periods of time without eating. And I was like, okay, it's 8 o'clock in the morning that we ate, and it's now like 2 in the afternoon, and I'm getting really hungry. And I kept waiting for them to say that they were hungry, but they were too focused, they were too excited about all of the different things. And so they ended up not wanting any food, and I ended up getting really hungry. And then by the time we did go around to the cafeteria, it already closed. And so I was not a happy camper at that time. So I had to learn what it is that I needed and to learn how to ask for what I needed by paying attention to my own body's signals instead of looking for outside factors. to pay attention to what I needed. So this also applies in when you're eating on a set schedule. So sometimes you may force yourself to eat on a set schedule, and then you end up eating maybe when you're not hungry. So you're not really paying attention to your body's own internal requirements of what it is that you actually need. And so because of that, you end up learning to discount what it is that your body needs. Am I really hungry in this moment? Or am I okay to go without food? And I think trying to eat on a schedule sometimes ends up putting a bit of a scarcity mindset to it. Having a President's Choice frozen yogurt bar, good for you. So paying attention to what it is that your body needs, and then how often. So I will learn to pay attention to various cravings, and I started to make connections between cravings that were due to a physical requirement. So example, craving potatoes or dill pickles or something like that because they're high in potassium, right? So, or bananas. So then you end up being able to understand what's going on, Alfred. uh, and so you pay attention to what's going on with your body. And so when I would look at those kind of things, then I would understand, hey, I might need more salt in my diet. I might need more calcium. Like if I was craving cheese or dairy or something like that, then maybe it's calcium. Then there are other times there's emotional correlations to certain foods that you have. So example of craving things that are crunchy and salty, right? Usually if you have those and then you're still craving salty and crunchy, then sometimes that can be an emotional connection that you're trying to solve, and that could be repressed anger. So this is where sometimes the expression of they're so salty, they're angry, comes up. So paying attention to what kind of cravings are going on with your body, what it is that you actually need, and how to interpret that. And determining whether or not is this an emotional craving or a physical craving. Is my body trying to tell me something that I need? So example, if I was eating a lot of, sometimes I would crave sweet things when really what I needed was water, because oftentimes if I ate a lot of sweet things, then I would have water as well. And so sometimes your body misinterprets the signals of what it is that you actually need. And so there could be correlating patterns that you guys have with your particular behaviors. So for me, in the example of eating things that were sweet and then pairing that with water, my body would tell me, hey, eat something sweet so that we can get the water that we need. And so when I'm being aware of what's going on with me and what I'm eating, then I feel much happier and I tend not to eat as much because I'm focused on being able to enjoy the foods that I'm actually eating, and then also being able to tell when I'm actually full, and being able to sit with that sensation rather than I need to eat this food at this time in these quantities. And those are good if you're trying to achieve a specific goal. But that often, and that can also help you when you're setting up good habits. So when I was younger, I did quite a few diet kind of things. So Weight Watchers was one of the things that I did. So I learned to like a lot of vegetables, fresh vegetables, because they were 0 points when you're eating on Weight Watchers. So personally, I love eating lots of vegetables, fresh raw vegetables, colorful plates, that is something that makes me happy, like, that kind of thing. And I even had that as a kid. And so some of that could also be because we didn't always have a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables in the house when we were growing up. And it was only when my mom went on Weight Watchers that we would have a whole bunch of fresh fruits and vegetables. And I remember one time, I guess she was setting up to go on Weight Watchers again, and she had bought a bunch of fresh fruits and vegetables, and cantaloupe was like one of my favorite. And she had that in the fridge, and when I saw the cantaloupe, because it was something that wasn't always around, I went in there, I ate all of it. So she ended up getting quite angry with me, but it just made me realize it's like, those were things that I really, really enjoyed as a kid, of lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. Why? Because they were rare, and they weren't around that often. Now, there were some vegetables I didn't like. I'm not a big fan of beans or anything else like that. When I see a lot of those kind of things, and I don't like things with a lot of sauces either. Um, so paying attention to what kind of foods actually make you happy. What are the cravings that you get from them? Are they more a physical craving that your body's trying to tell you that you need a certain something from it? Maybe you're craving a burger because you need iron, right? And that's the only time that you eat beef is if you're having a burger. Maybe it's, sometimes it's emotional connections. There are certain comfort foods that we have that we associate when we're with people. So, or family or friends and stuff like that. Maybe you're craving chicken wings because you miss the friend that you used to go to have chicken wings with, right? Or a lot of times too, there's things like dairy. Craving dairy is often a sign of sadness and loneliness because it is correlated to nurturing, like a mother's milk, right, kind of thing. And so craving certain things can both be a physical connection and an emotional connection, and being able to understand which is important. And that is something that you can't really get externally. Somebody can kind of give you a roadmap or a blueprint that worked for them, but for you learning to understand your own body, you learning to understand what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I love salads. I love fresh vegetables. There are many, many people that have challenges that their bodies don't do very well with those kind of things, right? And sometimes it's a taste thing, sometimes it's a texture thing, sometimes it's a smell thing, and they're just like, nope, I can't eat that, I'm not eating that. Or maybe they have a negative correlation with that. So whatever it is for you, being able to pay attention to what it is that you need, what it is that works for you, and how to actually feel good in your own body. And when you pay attention to those things, so sometimes too, we will end up eating things that are not good for us, not so much because we are craving those things, but we are denying something else that our body needs, like sleep. So a lot of times we run ourselves ragged, especially in this day and age, that we are on the go all the time, that we feel exhausted, and that causes us to crave things and to reach out for things that are a quick fix, a quick surge in energy, that really what we're trying to compensate for is that we actually need more sleep and to be able to rest and rejuvenate. And I don't think we give ourselves enough time to do that, or enough time to even pay attention to what's going on with our body. And a good litmus test for this is to be able to, can you sit and meditate or relax with either no sound or something that is calm, quiet, soothing, without falling asleep? Because if you ever try to go to do a meditation and you end up falling asleep in the meditation, then what you needed from that meditation was actual sleep. And so learning to pay attention to our bodies is something that is one of the cornerstones of being able to heal, especially if you've had past trauma. If you are going through a challenging time, or you are going through a period of great change or upheaval, making sure that you get extra rest as your body processes all the new information that's coming in, all the new changes that are happening with you, and then it allows you to be able to process and retain that information a lot better. And anytime I've ever been on a change management project, one of the things they always talk about is making sure that all the employees are getting enough sleep and rest, so time away so that they can digest all of the new information that's coming at them, that they can process what's going on, how they feel about it, any uncertainties, doubts, or fears or questions that they may have. When you're well rested, you're able to come back with those in a calmer, much more logical way. If you constantly are pushing yourself past those limits, well, yes, that's good for a short period of time. There is a period of time that you actually need to pull back, rest, recover, and rejuvenate, and really get yourself back to being able to operate at your best self, right? And so when you are paying attention to what's going on with your body, you're more likely to recover faster. If you continue to refuse to listen to what's going on with your body, oftentimes what ends up happening is that you will end up getting sick. So, and then your body will force you to rest, whether you thought you needed it or not. And don't you ever find that it's the worst possible timing of when you get sick, and that is when you needed the most downtime, right? So it is you can either go for a self-aware period of rest where you have control, you are able to give yourself what it is that you need. Maybe that's extra sleep, maybe that is more nutritious food, maybe that's more water, and or you can choose to wait and delay it and then force yourself where your body is going to force you into a period of rest. And that can come through many forms of illness, discomfort. Maybe you are not paying attention enough because you're not focused, and you end up having, either accidents, or you trip and fall, or something weird like that will end up happening. And it's because we weren't grounded, we weren't paying attention to what we truly needed. And so when we start focusing in on ourselves, what it is that we need, and how we can best serve our bodies so that we can show up and be our best version of ourselves. And that is a win for everybody. So start paying attention to what it is that you actually need. What does your body need? Do you need more sleep? Don't let certain labels of, like, you're ADHD and so you stay up way too late. It's like, well, no, that is a habit that can be broken if you choose to focus on what it is that you actually need. And I know that's probably going to tick a few people off with ADHD, but this is, like I said, these are the things that actually work for me when I actually pay attention to what it is that I need, and I honor that and I respect that. Then that is a form of self-respect. So, and when I am respecting myself, then I feel better about myself. I feel much happier. The people around me feel much happier. And for me, that is leading by example of doing what it is that I need for me, and paying attention to what it is that my body needs so I can create the happiest, most healthy version of my body that I can for today. And it's always improving and it's always getting better. And so if you are focusing on that, I think that will take you a long way to creating a happier body, creating a happier you. And so that is the subject for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you are looking for a daily dose of happiness and coaching like this, where it's much more interactive, where you can ask your own personal questions, get the feedback that you need. I invite you to send me a message, and I'll give you a link so that you can join my paid group, which is the Daily Dose of Happiness community. So, guys, with that, I am going to log off for tonight, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye!